in Oklahoma, you have about 2 weeks between the semifinal game and the championship game. And so as we're kind of putting together the game plan, Union had a really strong tendency that, hey, they were going to put their 8 fastest guys out there, and they were bringing them. All right. And it didn't matter, especially if they got you pinned back in certain field positions or certain, yard lines on the field and everything. And so they were going to bring them. And so I remember going to him, and he goes, "What do you think for the fake?" And I said, "Well, here's what I'd like to do, Coach. I'd like to direct snap it to our punter. All right. And they're going to be bringing 8 guys really fast. And I want him to catch it, and we're going to release Steven Parker up the seam, and we're going to hit him on a hot route right then." And he stopped, and he looked at me, and he said, "So you mean to tell me we're going to take a guy who never does anything with his hands, and we're going to have him throw the football?" I said, "Yes, sir. That's what we want to do." All right. And I said, "We've been working on this and having him throw the ball." And Tyler Reidner was the kid, and he's a great kid. He's a really good athlete, and we worked on it. And so we get ready to call it in the game, and it's like fourth and 7 on our 23-yard line. And it had just set itself up so perfectly. And I remember on between second and third down, Coach Trimble gets on the headsets and he says, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, Coach, we've worked on it. It's exactly what we want. I say we go for it." Okay. And of course, it's not my butt on the line. It's his butt on the line more than it's mine. Okay. So, so it's easy for me to say that. And so he says, "Okay, let's run it. Okay. Be ready, get ready to send it in." So I tell those kids on the sideline, and they're all jacked up, and they are so excited that we're going to run this play. All right. And I remember the Reidner kid takes a step out on the field and stops. And he looks at me and goes, "You really want to do this?" I said, "Get your butt out there on the field from the play." And so this kid now, he makes a perfect pass. And
it was a great throw. Great throw.
Coaching point for this whole thing is fluffy pillow. Nice fluffy pillow. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just make a nice fluffy pillow throw and put it in his arms. Okay. The kid will go down in state championship history as being a 1,000% career passer now because he made that one completion.
You normally hear, I never had this with you, but you normally hear that the kickers are kind of the outcast, right? And they're not very close to the team, and everyone was like, "We're the football team, and they're the kickers." But you never were like that at Houston, and even some of the other kickers weren't at Houston either. So what's your advice maybe to those kids and maybe to the coaches as well to help these kickers not to be a part of the team and not be like, "We're the football team and you're the kickers over there," because you were never like that while we were at Houston.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I think it's just an attitude. I think everybody knows that kickers have that stigma that, we're off to the side doing whatever. But I think, one thing that I really wanted to, make an impression of, you want to make the impression of your teammates. And that's been true when I first walked on the U of H campus and like when I get involved in these NFL workouts that people have to show up to. You want to show these guys that you're working hard, that you're coming, first in sprints and you're getting extra work in and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're going the extra mile because that's how you get that stigma off of you, is that you show these guys that you're willing to work hard. They have to trust you at the end of the day, and so that's one thing that I was lucky enough. I had a couple of roommates who pushed me and encouraged me to have that attitude. So I didn't necessarily have it innate in me, but I was lucky enough to be around some good guys.
That's pretty cool. You say that. I think that's huge. Those kickers that build up that sweat equity, those kids in the off season, and they show up every day. I think that just goes a long way with their kids. A lot of the guys like, "Oh, he's a football player first, who just happens to kick." So I think what you say there is a huge deal. Put yourself on the same level as the rest of these guys. Don't just show up every day and work on your golf swing.
Exactly.
I got to ask you, Rich, because almost every kicker or punter that I know was a really good golfer.
So how well do you golf?
I mean, I work hard. I wouldn't say I've had a little bit of a back thing over the past few months, so I haven't been playing as much. But I do work hard at playing, and I want to be better. I'm an aspiring scratch golfer for sure, but I know what it takes to get to that point, and I just don't have the time or the energy to do that right now. But I'm getting a percent better each couple of weeks. So that's all I can ask of myself right now.
Exactly. I just think, I don't know, I just think it's weird how, for whatever reason, kickers and punters, it's got to be because of the swing, right? The leg swing, the hip movement, the rhythm of it.
Sure. And it's so similar to the punting and kicking game. It's very mental. It's very, you got to have the repeatability and stuff, and high pressure stuff. So it goes kind of hand in hand.
I've actually had that conversation with a few people. I think, because a lot of them are like, oh, he's just being lazy or whatever. I'm like, dude, I think there's a lot of similarities between golf and then, like you said, being able to kick and punt, because, yeah, there is some pressure pack stuff and be able to repeat it. I'm glad you said that, man.
And
Absolutely.
it seems like, there's a special kind of person that can do, and it kind of goes to offensive linemen the same way, special kind of person that can just have to do the exact same thing over and over and over, day in and day out, and still enjoy it and still be obsessed with it 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I have days where, I currently don't have a job. It's tough to get, I have my bad days where I'm like, man, hopefully this works out. You gotta love the game. But I do love the game. I love the game. I love the locker room, and, having a chance to be on a team where you're having a collective goal and you're trying to go after and get it. I mean, what's better than that? That's why football is great.